All right, so picture this. Never having to, actually open up an app again. Like,
Hmm.
what would that even be like?
Hmm.
Like, if you wanted to plan a trip or, get your finances sorted or even just, like, buy something online,
Yeah.
but you never had to, like, actually go through the whole, app routine.
It's it's an interesting thought.
It is.
It's a very interesting thought.
Yeah.
And it's kind of what we're digging into today.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So we're kind of looking at this idea of AI agents
AI agents.
and
Right.
how these AI agents might actually end up like totally changing the whole app world, maybe even like replacing it completely.
Yeah,
Like, are apps going to go extinct?
yeah.
And we're basing this whole discussion on a really interesting article from FinShots called "Goodbye Apps, Hello AI Agents."
Yeah, that's a great article. It's
Yeah.
really thought-provoking. And that was published on April 8th, 2025, for those of you keeping track.
Hmm.
So our kind of mission for this deep dive, right,
Hmm.
is to really explore these AI agents. Like, what are they? How do they work? How are they going to, like, change everything?
Right.
And are apps really going to, just disappear completely?
Yeah. Yeah. So first of all, we need to kind of define, like, what are these AI agents that everybody's talking about?
Yeah, what are they?
So basically, think of them as um, like super smart digital assistants,
Okay.
but like on steroids.
Okay.
Way more powerful than just like setting an alarm or playing a song.
Right, right.
So these AI agents, they can actually do stuff for you, like, independently.
So it's not just following instructions like, okay, do this, then
No. It's way beyond that.
Okay.
You give them like
Right.
a high-level goal. You tell them what you want to achieve,
Okay.
and then they'll figure out how to do it.
So it's more like, get me to Austin for the cheapest price.
Exactly. Something like that.
Figure out how to do that.
Yeah. Find me the best deal on a weekend trip to Austin next month. And they'll go out there and they'll search the web. They'll look at different websites. They might even interact with those websites, like in ways that you would normally have to open up individual apps for.
Okay. That's where it starts to get really interesting, I think.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to say, okay, find me the cheapest flight. But it's another thing to say, okay, no, go book it for me. Go reserve that hotel room. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is they can even handle like unexpected stuff,
Like what?
like if a flight gets canceled or
Hmm.
a hotel is fully booked,
Right.
they can adjust, they can make decisions on the fly without you having to like micromanage them.
Right.
And here's the really, really, really crazy part. They actually learn.
Learn.
Yeah, like as they do stuff for you, they get better.
They remember.
They remember your preferences, like what you like, what you didn't like.
Right.
And then the next time, they'll be even more efficient,
Yeah.
even more attuned to what you want.
So it's like a personal assistant that just keeps getting better and better.
Exactly. It's almost like it becomes more and more you as you use it.
It's a little bit creepy, but also really cool.
Yeah. A little bit of both, definitely.
So, okay, give me an example, like a really clear example of how this might play out, in a real life situation.
Okay. So let's take that trip to Austin you mentioned.
Yeah, the Austin trip.
Let's say you tell your AI agent, book me a round trip flight to Austin,
Mm-hmm.
for that weekend after next, leaving Friday evening, coming back Sunday afternoon.
Okay.
And then find me a hotel somewhere near downtown that's got good reviews and doesn't cost a fortune, like under $200 a night.
Mm.
And while you're at it, I'll need a rental car at the airport.
Right.
Now think about how you do that today.
Yeah, I'm already getting stressed just thinking about it.
Right. You'd be like opening up Expedia, searching for flights, then jumping over to like hotels.com, filtering by location and price, reading reviews, and then, off to Priceline or whatever for a car rental.
Right. I mean, I'd probably have like 5 different tabs open.
Exactly. It's a whole lot of back and forth.
Yeah, it is.
But with an AI agent, you just, say it or type it out, whatever you prefer.
Right.
And the agent behind the scenes, it's doing all that work for you.
Really?
It's checking airlines, hotel databases, car rental places. It's weighing everything, like price, flight times, hotel ratings.
And then it just spits out the perfect itinerary.
Pretty much. Well, it gives you a few options.
Okay.
Curated, like tailored to what you asked for.
Yeah.
And then once you pick what you like, boom, it takes care of all the booking, the confirmations, everything.
Wow. And I literally don't have to touch a single app.
Not a single one.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
All right. Now, I can see how this would be, super convenient for me for, planning trips and stuff. But like, what about like the bigger picture? Like,
Yeah.
what does this mean for, businesses?
Well, for companies, the potential is
The
huge,
huge
especially when it comes to efficiency.
efficiency.
The article actually uses marketing campaigns as an example.
Okay.
Think about all the stuff that goes into that.
Yeah.
You've got social media posts, emails, website stuff, SEO.
Right.
It's a lot to manage.
Yeah. A lot of different platforms.
Right. And usually it involves a whole team of people, and it takes like days and days to get things done.
Right.
But with an AI agent,
Yeah.
you could potentially have one person handling all that.
Really?
Yeah. And they could probably get it all done in like an hour.
That's a pretty big difference.
Right. So you're talking about way faster turnaround.
Yeah.
Teams can be more agile, more responsive.
So this could really change the way like work gets done.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But, there's got to be a downside here, right?
Well, of course, there are potential downsides.
Yeah.
Like, the big one, the one that everyone's worried about, is job displacement.
Right. Are robots going to take our jobs? It's the classic sci-fi fear.
Yeah, it's a valid concern. If AI agents become really good at doing, lots of different tasks, then, well, some people might find themselves out of a job.
Yeah, that's a tough one. But the article also mentioned something interesting about AI agents and cybersecurity.
Right, right. So this is where AI agents could actually help in a big way.
Okay, so remind me, why is cybersecurity such a big deal these days?
Well, the threats are constantly evolving, getting more sophisticated,
Right.
and there's a massive shortage of, skilled cybersecurity professionals.
Like, how bad are we talking here?
Pretty bad. Like,
Yeah.
back in 2023, there were over 5.5 million open cybersecurity jobs globally.
Wow. 5.5 million.
And it's only getting worse. Yeah, like the World Economic Forum says that skills gap has grown by another 8% since 2024.
So we're basically falling further behind.
Kind of, yeah. And it's scary because, like, 2 out of every 3 organizations say they don't have the right people to, protect themselves from cyber attacks.
So they're vulnerable.
Hugely vulnerable.
All right, so where do the AI agents come in? Like, can an AI agent suddenly become a cybersecurity expert?
Well, no, not exactly. They won't replace human experts entirely,
Okay.
but they can help. They can be like superpowered assistants.
In what way?
Well, imagine an AI agent that's constantly monitoring your network traffic,
Okay.
looking for anything suspicious, like someone trying to log in from a weird location or access files they shouldn't be looking at.
Right.
And if it spots something fishy, it can instantly block that access, alert the human security team.
So it's like having a really, really vigilant guard dog that never sleeps.
Exactly.
Mm.
And it can handle those like really time-sensitive tasks.
Right.
So the human experts can focus on, the bigger picture, the more strategic stuff.
So for companies that are like really struggling to find qualified cybersecurity people,
Right.
this could be a real game changer.
Yeah, a really important layer of protection.
Okay, so we talked about like the big picture impact for businesses and for, cybersecurity, but like how does this actually affect like my everyday life?
Well, beyond just, booking trips and stuff.
Right.
AI agents could help you with all sorts of everyday tasks, things that are kind of annoying now.
Like what?
Well, like resetting passwords. You know how frustrating that can be.
Yeah, the worst.
Right. You forget your password for some website, and you have to go through this whole, like, rigmarole to reset it.
Yeah, it's a whole process.
With an AI agent, you just say, hey, I forgot my password for, whatever website, and boom, it takes care of it.
It just handles it.
Yeah, it goes through the whole process for you.
Wow. Okay, what else?
Data analysis.
Oh.
Like if you're working with, big spreadsheets with tons of numbers.
Yeah, like financial stuff or, tracking website traffic.
Exactly. The AI agent can analyze that data, find trends, even summarize the key findings.
So I don't have to stare at like a million rows in Excel.
Exactly. It saves you a ton of time.
That's pretty awesome.
And get this. Imagine you need to, create an image for a presentation or for social media.
Okay, yeah.
You can just describe what you want to your AI agent.
Like describe the image.
Yeah. And it'll go and, generate it for you.
Really? Like, is that even possible right now?
Well, there are tools that can do that, like Mid-Journey.
Right, right.
But imagine having that kind of power built directly into your AI assistant.
That would be amazing. So basically for like any kind of information gathering or any task that involves like multiple websites or apps,
Right.
the AI agent just handles it.
Seamlessly in the background.
I mean, that sounds pretty incredible.
It is. It's a big shift.
Yeah.
And actually, there's a really cool example of this that Amazon is already doing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Tell me more.
It's called Buy for Me. So let's say you're on Amazon and you're looking for something specific, but you can't find it.
Right, it happens.
Well, instead of you having to go off to a bunch of other websites, this Buy for Me agent, it'll actually search the web for you.
It'll go find it.
Yeah. And if you find the item you want on another site, the agent will just buy it for you.
Right from Amazon.
Right from Amazon. You don't even have to leave the app.
So, I mean, that's super convenient for me as a shopper.
Yeah.
But the article also mentions, like, a potential downside for other online businesses.
Yeah. That's the other side of the coin.
Right, because if everyone's just using Amazon's AI agent to buy everything,
Right.
then other websites, they lose out on traffic, they lose out on, potential customers.
Exactly. And that's a big problem for them because, their whole business model is built around getting people to visit their websites to use their apps.
Yeah. Right, that's how they make money. They need those eyeballs.
Exactly. So if AI agents become, really popular,
Yeah.
it could really shake things up for a lot of these businesses.
It's like a whole new playing field.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, now, all of this sounds very, futuristic,
Yeah.
But the article actually gives some numbers about how fast this AI agent market is growing.
Right. And the numbers are pretty crazy.
So, what are we talking here?
So in 2024, the global market for AI agents was about $5 billion.
Okay, 5 billion.
But by 2030, it's projected to hit 47 billion.
47 billion.
That's a huge jump.
Yeah, that is huge.
And it's growing at like 45% per year.
Wow. So, I mean, this is not just some fad that's going to disappear.
No, it's a real trend, a massive one.
Right.
And right now, most of the investment is in like business applications.
Right, okay.
But the article suggests that, consumer-facing AI agents.
Yeah, the stuff that we'll be using in our everyday lives.
Exactly. Those are coming soon. And they're going to be like really disruptive.
Really disruptive. Okay, so it's not just businesses that need to, pay attention to this.
No, everyone needs to pay attention. Like, remember how fast generative AI, like ChatGPT, took off?
Yeah, that was incredible.
They're probably going to be the same with these AI agents.
So they're predicting, basically, that people are going to be using these AI agents for everything.
Well, Gartner, the research firm, they predict that search engine traffic is going to drop by like 25% by 2026.
That's a big drop.
And they say a big part of that is because of generative AI and these personal AI agents.
So people are just going to be asking their AI to find stuff for them instead of, Googling it.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay, so we've talked about what these AI agents are. We've talked about how they could, change things for businesses and for individuals.
Yeah.
We've even talked about, the cybersecurity implications. But, the big question here is this the end of apps as we know them?
Right?
Right.
Like, is that what we're heading towards?
It's a good question. And, I mean, when you think about it, yeah, it does kind of seem like apps might be on their way out.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got tools like Midjourney that can create graphics for you.
Right.
You've got things like Mindtrip for planning trips.
Yeah, so you don't really need a separate app for each of those things.
Exactly. And a lot of big names in tech are saying, yeah, this is the future.
Sure. Yeah.
Like Satya Nadella from Microsoft.
Oh, yeah.
And Nandan Nilekani.
Okay. Some pretty big players.
Yeah. They both think that AI agents are going to replace traditional apps.
So it's not just some crazy idea. Like, people who are actually, shaping the future of technology, they think this is where we're going.
Right.
But the article also brings in another perspective.
Yeah.
It quotes a guy named Chuck Whitten from Bain & Company.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of has a different take.
Yeah. He basically says that big technological changes,
Yeah.
they rarely just wipe out everything that came before.
Like, it's not just a case of, okay, now we have this new thing, so the old thing is completely gone.
Right. It's not that simple.
Right. He says that usually what happens is you end up with, like, this more complex ecosystem.
Okay.
Where you've got the old and the new kind of, working together.
Coexisting.
Yeah, coexisting.
Okay.
Each one kind of finding its own, niche.
So it's not just black and white, one or the other.
Exactly.
Okay, that's an interesting point. And the article gives some examples of this, right?
Yeah.
Like like PCs.
PCs, yeah.
Like when smartphones and tablets came out, everybody thought, okay, well, that's it for the PC.
Right. Like, who needs a clunky old desktop when you've got this sleek little smartphone?
Yeah, but it didn't really work out that way, did it?
No, not at all. PCs are still around.
Right. Like, I'm using one right now.
Exactly. They adapted.
Yeah.
They became, the go-to for, like, really heavy-duty tasks, things that you need a bigger screen and more processing power for.
Right, like video editing or gaming.
Right. Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. And there was another example, right?
Yeah, Slack and email.
Slack and email.
That was a big one. When Slack came out, everyone thought, okay, this is the end of email.
Yeah. Email's dead.
Right. Like, who needs all those, formal emails when you can just, like, chat on Slack?
Yeah, but email's still here.
It's still here, and it's actually grown even more popular.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Like, daily email traffic increased by almost 30% between 2018 and 2024.
So people are sending even more emails now.
Even more.
That's wild.
Yeah. And the article says it's because email still has this, like, formality to it.
Right. It's more official.
It's still the way to go for, like, important stuff, external communications.
So basically what we're seeing is that these new technologies, they don't always just kill off the old ones.
Right.
Sometimes they just push them to, like, evolve to find a new role.
Exactly.
So maybe that's what's going to happen with apps.
Maybe.
Instead of disappearing completely,
Yeah.
they'll just become, smarter, more AI-powered.
Right. And the article actually suggests that this is exactly what's going to happen.
Okay, how so?
Well, think about it. These AI agents, they often need data that lives inside those existing apps.
Right, to do their job.
Exactly. So the app developers, they have this, like, built-in advantage.
Because they control the data.
Right.
Okay.
So if they can create their own, like, AI-powered interfaces.
That work seamlessly with their own data.
Right.
Yeah.
Then they can offer a better experience than, some third-party AI agent that has to, like, jump through hoops to get the information it needs.
Right, because that third-party agent might have to, like, pull data from, 10 different sources.
Exactly. It's going to be clunky, inefficient.
Yeah.
But if the app itself has that AI built in.
It's all right there, ready to go.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it.
And, one other thing to consider is that even with AI agents, there's a chance we might end up with, like, a lot of fragmentation.
Fragmentation, what do you mean by that?
Well, like, you might need different AI agents for different tasks.
Okay, yeah.
Like one for travel planning, one for creative stuff, one for finances.
So it's just like having a bunch of different apps.
Kind of, yeah.
So it's not like we're going to have this, like, one magical AI agent that can do everything?
Probably not.
Okay.
So while you might be able to, talk to your AI instead of tapping on icons,
Right.
you might still need to manage a bunch of different agents.
Right. So there are still some, like, challenges to work out.
Yeah.
But overall, it seems like this whole, like, rise of AI agents, it's not necessarily a bad thing for the app world.
Right. It might actually be a good thing.
Yeah.
Like, it could push app developers to innovate, to make their apps better.
To create a more seamless experience, a more intelligent experience.
Exactly. And ultimately, that benefits everyone.
All right, so let's wrap this up. We've covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah, we have.
So what are the key takeaways from this deep dive into the FinShots article?
Well, first, I think it's clear that AI agents are, they're a really powerful technology.
Yeah, and they're developing really quickly.
Yeah.
And they definitely have the potential to, like, really change how we interact with the digital world.
Right, like how we find information, how we get things done, all of that.
And maybe they will lead to us using apps less.
Maybe.
But I don't think we're going to see apps completely disappear, at least not anytime soon.
Yeah, it's probably going to be more of a, an evolution.
Yeah, an evolution.
Like AI agents will become more common and apps will probably adapt. They'll integrate AI features.
And they'll both kind of coexist, each one finding its own place.
Exactly. Just like PCs and smartphones or Slack and email.
Right. Okay, so to end this deep dive, I want to leave you all with a final thought, something to kind of ponder. So as these AI agents become, more and more advanced, more specialized, do you think we'll end up with a few, like, super powerful, all-encompassing AI agents?
Like one AI to rule them all.
Yeah, basically. Or will it be more like the app ecosystem we have now?
Like a ton of different AI agents, each one focusing on a specific thing.
Yeah, exactly. And like, what would that mean for us? How
Yeah.
would that change how we access information, how we manage our lives? Just something to think about.
It's a good question. A really good question.
All right. That's it for this deep dive. Thanks for listening.